What if the answer you've been searching for, the medicine you long for, were not hidden in a distant place or locked inside an expensive bottle, but beating at this very moment within you? Stop for a moment and think, the life you wish to recover, the energy you miss so deeply, the harmony you long to feel in every cell of your body, it is already present, flowing silently, obediently, in the mysterious river that runs through your veins. That river is your blood. We have been taught to believe that body and mind are two separate kingdoms, that thoughts remain trapped inside the skull and that our organs work deaf, indifferent to our words. But what if I told you that is not true? What if you discovered that your blood is not just a simple liquid, but a watchful messenger, ready to carry your commands to every corner of your being? Imagine for a moment that you are a sovereign in an ancient kingdom. Your mind is the throne, and your blood, the royal messenger that swiftly travels through every village, every fortress, carrying your decrees. If your orders are of strength, order, and health, the kingdom flourishes. If your decrees are of fear, defeat, and disorder, the kingdom weakens. This is not just a poetic metaphor. It is a spiritual and mental principle that Joseph Murphy and other sages repeated with clarity: the mind governs the body, and the word charged with emotion is the scepter with which the ruler commands. Every phrase you speak, especially when spoken with faith, does not vanish into the air. It becomes an instruction for your subconscious, and this, tireless and obedient, translates those orders into physical reactions. That is why, when you say each day, "I am exhausted," your blood receives that command and acts accordingly, distributing that fatigue throughout your organs and cells. And in the same way, when you affirm, "Each breath renews me," your blood carries that message of vitality to every corner of your body. This is the forgotten law: your body listens to what your mind decrees. And your blood is the river that carries those decrees. From this moment on, I want you to open your mind to the possibility that you are not a passive passenger in your own body. You are the captain. Each word you speak is the rudder that sets the course of your physical life. Today, on this journey, you will remember a language that has never been lost, the language of faith and inner command. You will discover that within you there is a hidden power that can restore your health, renew your strength, and transform your destiny. That power is not outside. It is within you, flowing right now in silence. And when you learn to speak to it with clarity, gratitude, and conviction, your blood, that sacred river, will obey you. Within you runs a secret river, a silent flow that never stops. It is so constant that you rarely notice it, but without it, life would vanish in seconds. That river is your blood. From your first breath to your final heartbeat, it tirelessly travels through invisible paths, carrying nourishment, oxygen, and messages to every corner of your body. Yet what most people ignore is that this river does not only transport nutrients or chemicals, but also the imprints of your thoughts and emotions. Every word you speak, every idea you hold in your mind, is like an order sent into that current. And your blood, obedient and faithful, receives it and distributes it as a tireless messenger. Picture your bloodstream as an endless caravan of messengers crossing a vast kingdom. They carry letters, decrees, and news that dictate the life of each village. If the order is of peace and prosperity, the kingdom flourishes. If the message is of fear and chaos, the kingdom suffers. This is how your body works. It reflects in its cells the content of the decrees you send each day from your mind. Science confirms what sages intuited centuries ago. Fear floods the blood with stress hormones, tightening vessels and accelerating the heart. Gratitude, on the other hand, fills that same river with substances that balance, repair, and strengthen. Your blood, like a liquid mirror, reflects what you think and feel at every moment. Joseph Murphy taught that the subconscious is the invisible workshop where your words become blueprints. And blood is the messenger that carries out those blueprints in your physical body. That is why what you decree in the intimacy of your mind is not a fleeting thought, it is an instruction traveling through your bloodstream, shaping your health, your energy, and your destiny. Perhaps for years you believed that your body was a machine that functioned on its own, indifferent to your words. But the truth is that it has never stopped listening. Every complaint, every negative affirmation, every self-defeating definition was received and obeyed. You did not know it, but you have been the ruler of your inner kingdom all along. The good news is that it does not matter what you have decreed until now. A river can change its course with a single firm order. In the same way, your blood can begin to obey new instructions from this very moment. When you declare life, strength, and divine order, your inner river will carry those blessings to every cell. Remember, it is not just a liquid that circulates in silence. It is your ally, your faithful messenger. The secret river that flows within you waits, attentive, for the next words you will speak. In the history of spiritual thought and the human mind, few names resonate as clearly as that of Joseph Murphy. This writer, teacher, and lecturer dedicated his life to revealing a secret that continues to transform millions of lives today. The subconscious is the true ruler of the body and of life itself. Murphy taught that most people live as if they were victims of external circumstances, illnesses, failures, limitations. Yet he insisted that true power is not outside, but within, in the mind that constantly dictates orders. The subconscious does not argue, it does not reason, it does not oppose. It only receives and executes. To this capacity for absolute obedience, Murphy gave the name of a spiritual law, the law of inner command. According to this law, every word, every thought repeated with emotion, becomes a decree that the subconscious translates into visible facts. It is like a judge who neither interprets nor questions, but simply pronounces a sentence according to what it hears from your lips and from your heart. That is why, when someone constantly says, "I am weak, I am sick, nothing works out for me," those words do not vanish into the air. They sink into the invisible workshop of the subconscious, and it begins to produce exactly that result. On the other hand, when someone declares with faith, "I am strong, life flows through me, every day I am renewed," the subconscious obeys and organizes the body and circumstances to reflect that decree. Murphy found support in ancient scriptures and even in the words of Jesus himself, "Say to this mountain, move, and it will move." For him, this was not a poetic metaphor, but a literal description of how the mind, united with the Word, can move not only external mountains, but also the inner mountains of fear, illness, and hopelessness. The law of inner command affirms something radical: you are the sovereign of your body and of your destiny. Not a passive spectator, but a captain who, consciously or unconsciously, is giving orders all the time. The tragedy is that most people issue decrees of chaos without realizing it. The blessing is that, upon awakening to this truth, you can begin to issue decrees of order, health, and prosperity. Every word you speak is a seed. The subconscious is the fertile soil. And your blood is the river that waters those seeds throughout your being. What you plant with your tongue and your emotions, that you will reap in your body and in your life. From this chapter onward, we will walk together through how to apply this law with clarity and precision. For once you recognize the law of inner command, you can no longer live as a victim, you must live as a conscious ruler. Imagine for a moment that your body is a vast kingdom, with millions of inhabitants working day and night, cells repairing, blood cells defending, organs silently regulating life. Now ask yourself, who is the sovereign of that kingdom? Who gives the orders that all those subjects obey without question? The answer is clear: your mind. For centuries, we were led to believe that the body functioned like an isolated machine, indifferent to our ideas. But spiritual sages and modern science agree on something surprising: what you think and what you say directly affect every process of your organism. Your mind is the throne from which decrees are issued that determine the peace or the chaos of your inner kingdom. Joseph Murphy explained it with powerful simplicity: the body is the servant, the mind is the master. The subconscious, that silent and obedient part of your being, receives every word, every mental image, as a royal command. And like a loyal messenger, your blood carries those instructions to every corner of the body. When your inner dialogue is filled with complaints, fear, or resignation, the orders you issue are of defeat. And the entire kingdom responds with weakness, fatigue, and illness. But when your mind rises in faith, hope, and gratitude, your decrees are of strength, harmony, and health, and the body responds with vitality. It is like conducting an invisible orchestra. Each thought is a note, each word is a chord. If you play in disorder, you get noise and confusion. If you conduct with clarity, the result is music, balance, and beauty. This is how the sovereignty of the mind works. It governs the invisible, and the invisible shapes the visible. That is why the first step toward transformation is not asking others to heal you or waiting for an external miracle. It is to assume your place on the throne of your mind, to recognize that you have always been giving orders, and to begin giving them consciously. You are not a powerless subject of your body. You are not a victim of chance. You are the sovereign of a perfect kingdom that awaits clear instructions. And from this moment on, you will learn to speak to your body with the dignity of a king, with the faith of a prophet, and with the certainty that your word has power. Words have power, but not all of them carry the same weight. A phrase spoken without conviction dissolves into the air like smoke. But a word charged with feeling is imprinted in the subconscious like fire upon stone. This is the formula Joseph Murphy revealed again and again: word plus emotion equals fulfilled command. The subconscious does not analyze, compare, or argue. It is like a loyal servant who instantly obeys the master's command. But it needs to receive the signal with enough strength to register it as a royal decree. That strength is emotion. Think about it. What happens when someone is filled with anger? Within seconds, the blood surges, the heart beats faster, the muscles tighten. A negative emotion, accompanied by thoughts, is capable of altering the whole body in an instant. If the negative has such power, what do you think happens when the emotion is positive, when you speak with faith, love, or gratitude? The effect is just as immediate, but in the opposite direction. Your blood fills with healing chemistry, your breathing calms, your body responds with balance. Murphy used to say that a single affirmation spoken with true faith is worth more than 100 mechanical repetitions. It is not about repeating words like a parrot, but about igniting in them the spark of feeling. When you say, "My blood flows strong and in divine order," but you say it with emotion, with the certainty that it is real, your subconscious receives it as an unbreakable command. The key lies in uniting the mental image with the word and the emotion. Visualize what you desire, declare it in the present tense, and feel that it is already true. That trio turns simple phrases into keys that open invisible doors. That is why, every time you speak to your body, do it as one who issues a decree, not as one who begs. Do not ask, command. Do not wait, affirm. Do not doubt, give thanks as if the work were already accomplished. The subconscious does not understand tomorrow or perhaps. It only understands that now and that yes. When you unite word and emotion, your blood obeys without delay. It becomes the perfect messenger of your faith, carrying life, strength, and order to every cell. And that is the secret. It is not how much you repeat, but how much you feel what you repeat. From the moment we are born, our body listens to every word, every thought, every emotion we express. Yet, as time passes, we forget this secret language. We learn to speak with others, to address the outside world, but we stop speaking to the inner world, our own body. The mistake is to think that the organism functions on its own, like a programmed machine, indifferent to what we say. The truth is different. The body has always been listening. The subconscious acts as a constant translator between your mind and your biology. Everything you affirm, everything you repeat with emotion, becomes an instruction. And your blood, obedient, takes charge of carrying that order to every corner of you. When you complain and say, "I am always sick, I never have energy," your subconscious does not argue, it accepts it as a decree. And your body begins to act accordingly, weakening defenses and diminishing vitality. But when you remember the forgotten language and clearly affirm, "Every cell in me breathes life, every drop of my blood flows in divine order," your subconscious responds and your body begins to align with that command. This forgotten language does not require complicated words. On the contrary, it is simple, direct, present. It works best when you speak it as a truth that is already real. And above all, when you accompany it with gratitude. For gratitude is the clearest signal that you accept it as an accomplished fact. The ancient sages knew this. That is why they used mantras, prayers, decrees. They were not mere empty repetitions, but keys to speak to the body in its own language, the language of faith united with emotion. Joseph Murphy recovered this teaching and translated it into modern language, reminding us that the subconscious is a tireless servant that obeys every order, whether wise or harmful. To speak to your body is, in reality, to remember a language you have always known. It is to take back the scepter of power and direct your inner kingdom with authority. And the most beautiful part is that this language does not distinguish past from future. Every word spoken in the present is received as law. Today you are rediscovering that forgotten language, the language with which you can awaken health, reactivate your energy, and order your life from the inside out. Your body waits. Your blood listens. And every word you speak is the beginning of a new destiny. Think of your blood as a tireless messenger that never rests. Day and night, without pausing for a single instant, it travels through every corner of your body, carrying life. It transports oxygen, nutrients, defenses, but it also carries something much more subtle and powerful, your mental commands. Every word you speak with emotion becomes a message that your subconscious imprints into that inner river. And your blood, obedient, carries it like a royal decree to millions of cells. Thus, what you say does not remain in the air, it travels through your veins, penetrates your tissues, and little by little shapes your physical reality. Imagine that your organism is a great kingdom. In that kingdom, you are the sovereign. Your thoughts and words are decrees. Your subconscious is the scribe that writes those orders on invisible scrolls. And your blood is the royal messenger that carries those letters, sealed with authority, to every province of the kingdom, heart, lungs, brain, skin. Every territory obeys what the messenger proclaims. That is why, if your decrees are of fear, disorder, or weakness, the messenger will faithfully repeat them, carrying chaos to every village of your body. But if your words are of strength, harmony, and health, your blood will distribute that renewing power to every cell. There is no neutrality, it always obeys what it receives. Modern science confirms this vision in surprising ways. Studies show how stress alters blood chemistry, weakening defenses and affecting organs. At the same time, emotions such as gratitude and love generate beneficial changes, improving circulation and immunity. In other words, your blood reflects your inner state and acts as a bridge between your mind and your body. Joseph Murphy stated it clearly, the blood is the mail of the mind. Every emotion colors it, every thought instructs it, every word directs it. It is not a simple mechanical fluid, it is a living messenger waiting for your decrees to act. And here is the key, your blood does not distinguish between a conscious or unconscious command. It obeys just the same. That is why it is vital to watch what you say, even in your smallest conversations. I always feel tired, becomes law. My body is renewed every day, does too. The choice is yours, and your blood will comply without protest. Now you understand that within you runs a loyal messenger, ready to carry your orders instantly. It only waits to hear your voice, clear and firm, pronouncing decrees of life, strength, and divine order. The night is a silent portal that many fail to take advantage of. While you sleep, your body works tirelessly, repairing tissues, strengthening defenses, renewing every cell. And it is precisely in those moments, when the conscious mind shuts down and the subconscious remains open, that your words have multiplied power. Joseph Murphy called this the golden moment of suggestion. Before falling asleep, your mind enters a state between wakefulness and sleep. There, the filter of logic weakens, and every thought, every image, every word penetrates directly into the subconscious. What you sow in those moments becomes orders that your body will obey throughout the night. That is why it is so important to be mindful of the last phrases you speak at the end of the day. Many go to bed repeating that they are exhausted, worried, or ill. And those words become decrees that the subconscious executes while they sleep, reinforcing fatigue, anxiety, or pain. Without realizing it, they hand over to the nightly messenger orders of disorder. But you can choose differently. You can transform the night into an altar of renewal. Before closing your eyes, sit or lie down calmly, breathe deeply, and declare with a serene voice. My blood rests in divine peace. Every cell is renewed, every organ restored. Life flows within me in perfect order. These words, filled with gratitude and certainty, penetrate your subconscious like seeds of light. While you sleep, your blood will carry those orders to every corner, and your body will obey, cleansing, repairing, balancing. This is not fantasy, it is the law of inner command at work in the most receptive moment of the day. Murphy recommended accompanying the affirmation with an image. Visualize your blood as a golden river gently flowing through your body, illuminating every cell as you rest. Let that image merge with your words until you fall asleep. Upon waking, you will notice the difference: more lightness, more peace, more vitality. For you planted health in the fertile field of the night. And the harvest inevitably appears in the day to come. The way you begin your day sets the course for everything that follows. The first few minutes after waking are fertile ground. Your subconscious is still open, as if the border between sleep and wakefulness has not fully closed. What you plant in that moment will grow throughout the hours ahead. Unfortunately, many begin the morning with complaints: I'm so tired, another day just the same, I have no strength. Without realizing it, they launch decrees of fatigue that their blood carries to every corner of the body. And so, what could have been a day of possibilities begins with invisible chains. Joseph Murphy taught that the secret lies in giving a morning command, a clear, positive, present-tense order spoken as soon as you open your eyes. It is not a plea or a vague wish, it is a royal decree that your subconscious receives as truth. Imagine waking and, before touching your phone or letting worries enter, staying silent for a few seconds. You take a deep breath, feel the pulse of your heart, and say with a firm voice, "Today my blood flows strong and in harmony. Every cell is filled with life. I walk in divine order." These words are not just sounds. They are the initial programming of your day. Your subconscious records them as blueprints, and your blood distributes them as living orders. From that moment on, your whole body begins to align with that vibration. Murphy recommended accompanying the declaration with a visualization. Imagine that each beat of your heart sends waves of golden light throughout your body. That light, united with your word, becomes an invisible fuel that sustains you during the day. The morning command requires no more than a minute. Yet its impact can transform the tone of entire hours. You will feel more centered, stronger, more at peace. And the best part, the more you repeat this practice, the faster your subconscious will accept it as law, and your blood will obey automatically. Just as a king inaugurates the day with a decree that governs his entire kingdom, you inaugurate your day with the word that dictates the quality of your energy. And when you decide to begin with life, strength, and divine order, your whole day becomes a reflection of that first command. There are practices that seem simple, almost too simple, and for that reason many people dismiss them. Yet true transformation is often hidden in what is simple, when applied with consistency. Joseph Murphy proposed a powerful challenge, the 7-day experiment. 1 week in which you speak to your blood with faith, morning and night, without missing a single day. The key is not in the amount of time, but in discipline. Each morning, as soon as you wake up, you issue your morning command. Today my blood flows pure, strong, and in divine order. Every cell of my body receives life and energy. And each night, before sleeping, you speak your nighttime prayer. My blood rests in peace. It cleanses, renews, and restores me as I sleep. It takes only a few minutes, but repeated with faith for 7 consecutive days, it begins to create a new pattern in your subconscious. It is like opening a path in a forest. At first it is difficult, but each step makes it more visible and easier to walk. Murphy also recommended keeping a simple record. A notebook where you write down any change, no matter how small, a sense of lightness, a deeper sleep, a little more energy upon waking. These details are signs that your subconscious has begun to obey. Recognizing and writing them down strengthens faith and accelerates the process. During those 7 days, you must also watch your everyday words. It is useless to declare health in the morning if you spend the rest of the day complaining about fatigue or illness. That is why the challenge includes a commitment: avoid phrases that contradict your decrees. Instead of saying, "I am exhausted," replace it with, "I am regaining strength." Instead of, "My health is weak," affirm, "Every day my body grows stronger." The 7-day challenge is an experiment. It invites you to test in your own life the power of the law of inner command. It is not about blind belief, but about practice and observation. And what many discover is that, in less than a week, they begin to notice real changes: more calm, more vitality, a sense of inner order. After 7 days, you will have the evidence that your blood listens, your subconscious obeys, and your body responds. And that certainty is the beginning of a transformation that can accompany you for the rest of your life. Nothing convinces as much as facts. We can talk about spiritual principles, about the laws of the subconscious, about decrees and affirmations, but what truly awakens faith is seeing how these principles manifest in the lives of real people. Joseph Murphy often shared numerous testimonies of men and women who discovered the power of speaking to their bodies and were transformed. A 50-year-old man, tired of suffering from poor circulation and constant exhaustion, decided to apply the teachings. Every morning and every night, he would look at himself in the mirror and say calmly yet with authority, "My blood flows free and strong in every part of my body. Every cell receives life in divine order." At first, he did it with doubt, almost as an experiment. But after a week, he began to notice that his hands were no longer so cold. After 2 weeks, he could walk farther without feeling fatigued. After a month, his energy had completely changed. The only thing he had altered was his word. A young woman, afflicted by a skin condition that caused her shame and suffering, decided to speak to her blood every night, "My blood purifies and renews my skin. My body obeys the perfect order." She repeated it before sleeping, visualizing her skin clear and radiant. Within a few weeks, the irritation began to diminish. Over time, her skin regained a healthy appearance. She confessed that it was not an external medicine that restored her confidence, but the inner strength of her word directed to the subconscious. Another case, an elderly man with heart problems who had lost all hope. Inspired by Murphy's teaching, each morning he placed his hand over his chest and said, "My heart beats strong and in perfect rhythm. My blood nourishes it with new life." With persistence, he noticed improvements in his mood and physical stamina. Even his doctors were surprised to see signs of recovery in a body that seemed to have no way out. These examples are not fanciful tales. They are testimonies of the law in action. Not everyone experiences an instant miracle, but those who practice consistently discover that the blood responds, that the body obeys, that the subconscious fulfills. The most powerful aspect of these stories is that they remind us of a universal truth: no matter the age, the condition, or the diagnosis, you can always begin to issue decrees of life and divine order. And when you do so with faith, sooner or later you will see the results. Within you dwells a silent physician, a tireless healer who never sleeps, never gets distracted, and never abandons his work. That inner physician is your subconscious. From the very first beat of your heart in your mother's womb to this very moment, it has been directing the complex processes that sustain your life without you ever having to think about it. Your heart beats thousands of times a day, your blood renews itself, your cells divide and repair, your immune system combats invisible threats. Who directs all of this? It is not your conscious mind, which is often busy with worries and daily tasks. It is the subconscious, the inner physician who tirelessly works on your behalf. The most astonishing fact is that this physician obeys orders. Although it has the wisdom to regulate your body automatically, it allows itself to be guided by the instructions it receives from your conscious mind. Every word, every image, every emotion you repeat reaches it like both a diagnosis and a prescription. And this physician never questions the order. It simply carries it out. When you declare, "I am exhausted, I have no strength," your subconscious interprets it as a medical report and acts accordingly, reducing your energy. When you affirm with faith, My blood carries life and strength to every cell. That same physician adjusts internal processes to reflect your decree. Joseph Murphy explained that the subconscious is like a doctor with infinite resources, capable of directing nutrients, repairing tissues, strengthening defenses, and restoring organs, as long as it receives clear instructions. You do not need to explain how to do it. It already knows the original blueprint of your perfect health. It only awaits your command to activate it. This inner physician never rests for a single second. While you sleep, it organizes your body's repair. While you work, it keeps your circulation and breathing in order. While you laugh or cry, it continues to obey the last command you gave it. That constancy is a gift, but also a great responsibility. It means you are always issuing decrees, whether of life or of deterioration. Today you can begin to treat your subconscious as the most powerful ally you have. Speak to it with respect, with gratitude, with firmness. Give it instructions of health, of order, of vitality. For your inner physician is on duty day and night, waiting for the next word you will speak. We have reached the end of this path, but in truth it is not an ending, it is a beginning. For once you discover the power of your word, you can no longer live as before. You have understood that your blood listens, that your subconscious obeys, and that your body faithfully responds to every decree. Now you know that your word is the law that governs your inner life. Joseph Murphy called this state the reordered life. It is the moment when you no longer need to force yourself to repeat affirmations, because the truth has taken root within you as a natural habit. Your inner dialogue changes, your daily phrases become more conscious, and every thought vibrates in harmony with divine order. Before, perhaps you spoke without realizing it, planting decrees of fatigue, illness, or defeat. Today, however, your word flows like a spring of life. You no longer beg or doubt, you affirm with certainty. And your body, obedient, reflects this new authority in greater energy, greater peace, and greater health. The reordered life does not mean you will never face challenges, but that now you face them from a different place. When a symptom appears, instead of giving in to fear, you declare, "My blood obeys divine order." Every cell is restored in perfect harmony. That confidence changes everything. Difficulty ceases to be an enemy and becomes an opportunity to exercise your inner power. Murphy taught that every word is a seed, every affirmation is a blueprint, and every decree is an executed order. When you truly understand this, the way you speak changes forever. You become careful with your phrases, watchful of your inner dialogue, aware that your subconscious records everything as law. The reordered life is, ultimately, a state of union. You no longer feel separate from your body or from the force that sustains it. You recognize that the same intelligence that moves the universe flows through your blood, and that your words are the key that either open or close the access to that intelligence. Today you receive this truth: your word is not a mere sound, it is the decree of a sovereign. And when you speak with faith, your blood obeys, your body aligns, and your entire life is transformed.